Hello everyone, this is In-Game Arts with another unboxing to the offline product game review. This is Hot Wheels Unleashed for the PlayStation 4, but this is being played and tested on my PlayStation 5. To jump right into it, this physical copy here just says it's just the base vanilla version of the game, so the on-disc version is 1.0. Now sadly there was an update available. This update size was 8.2 gigabytes big and will take you to version 1.19 since the time making this video. Now this update says it's just a slew of added features, content fixes, bug fixes, and just a bunch of other stuff. It just adds and fixes a lot of stuff in the game. But I was still unlocking trophies with an unregistered account, so that's good for trophy hunters. Now like always, I did play the vast majority of the game completely offline with an unregistered account, and I didn't experience any massive game breaking bugs or issues throughout my entire time of playing it. Now the only issues I have with the game was just the overall, just the base vanilla version of the game and some of its design points. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Hot Wheels Unleashed is best way that I can describe it is a good disappointment. I know a lot of people seem to have enjoyed this game, and I did enjoy many aspects about Hot Wheels Unleashed, but there's just so many bad things about the game, or just other things that just completely was just the oversight of the developers that I just can't overlook it. Now, I want to immediately get into that Hot Wheels Unleashed actually played and felt great to play. I didn't have any issues or anything like that. The controls were smooth and solid, and they functioned really well. And the game does have a slew of content off just straight off the disc. You got your normal campaign mode, you got quick play mode, you got the two-player split screen, you can have basement builder, you have a track builder, you got at least a slew of content, as well as you can try to collect all the Hot Wheel cars. So there's at least a good amount of content. Now, what could be the real issue? Well, a lot of these things just have very odd design aspects about them. Now, granted, a lot of these issues could be fixed probably through this 8.2 gigabyte update, but if you don't know, like always, we play our games completely offline with an unregistered account. It does not matter if they fix problems or issues. I play the game with on the disc. That is what I review and test, and that is the final, to me, is the final product the developer felt was good enough for the consumer. So that is what we will judge. So in the end, while I did enjoy many of the mechanics and ideas of the game, there were just so many things that just didn't make sense in terms of design. Now, first off, let's start with the campaign, where you could open, kind of like an open world, where you move your cursor and you can pick your track and race it. Now, this is generally just worked really well, but it had some weird things about it. Like, first off, there are secret missions, and these missions, you have to do a secret thing to unlock it before you can play that track or progress to that path on the map. While generally this wouldn't be an issue, but some of the secret missions are required to unlock if you want to continue progressing the world. And this is a bit of an issue because some of them give you a very poor hint or the little riddle, if you will, to figure out what it is you need to do to actually progress the story level map. I thought this was really just poor design. I actually had to go online to figure out what track and what car they were asking me to use because the hint or riddle was very poorly done. So that was very odd design choice. As well as that the game has where you can unlock currency through playing these missions. You can buy money, get money like resources and gear to upgrade vehicles. You don't feel like you get enough, and they kind of use a loot box kind of system where you spend money to get a box that allow you to get a random chance for a car. I'm a little iffy about that because that's like slowly encouraging loot boxes in some form of way, but also to go into upgrading your car. Eventually you can get commons, rares, legendaries, and so on, and you upgrade those cars with gears. And every time you upgrade the car, it gets a little bit better stats, and maybe get better boosts, or maybe even reduce the boost. That's the problem. I've actually upgraded cars that had like alright stats, and I upgraded it, and it actually got worse, where it had less boosts, and most of the stat upgrades didn't really mean much. So again, I don't understand it. It's got some balancing issues with this upgrading vehicle system. Now, I'm sure some professional out there will go out and say that they balance perfectly. I don't agree with this. There's nothing in the world that makes me feel like I'm upgrading my car when I'm losing boost. That does not feel like an upgrade to me. And some cars even have exact stats, but just has less boost than another car, even though they have the exact same stats. So clearly this is just a shotgun blast of just random stats. I wish they probably did more of an RPG element where you can just put points into your stats, and every vehicle can have different points. You can choose whichever ones you want to do. That way you can just pick and choose how you want your cars. As well as that, though the game has a track builder, which is incredibly elaborate and it's pretty cool how that works, you actually cannot play your custom tracks by single player wise. Once you build a track, you can't do a time track. Computer will not drive on your custom track, and you can't even do anything with your track. The only way you can play your custom-made tracks is on multiplayer. Yeah, you heard me right. So even if you go out of your way to make a custom track, you cannot drive it unless you're playing split-screen multiplayer. Again, this is completely offline, and maybe they fixed it with this 8.2 gigabyte update, but again, that is irrelevant. That is what is available on disc. So if you're interested in the track building aspect, keep that in mind, that you can only do anything with your track once you get done making it in the 2-player split screen mode. And just there's just slew of other odd things, that just like the basement building, where you can customize this basement in an area, which is really cool because you can put a track inside there and it gives you a lot of customization by your dedicated basement. But at the end of the day, I'm like, why did you focus on development of this custom basement? Why didn't you focus more on more content, more cars, more elaborate track designs, or make things work properly, like more balancing for the vehicles, or you can make custom tracks offline where you can play against single player wise with computer. And on that note about computer's difficulty system is completely broken in this game. Easy mode is too easy. Now, granted, I don't mind that. Easy mode is great for kids and stuff like that, so you don't really have to touch easy mode. Just leave that as the way as it is. But normal is insanely hard. Basically, normal can be described as very hard. And it's just insane. You have to basically be pitch perfect and know exactly every little thing that's around the track to be able to beat computer on normal. It's just absurdly difficult. As well as hard, I don't even know if there's even a chance of you winning hard, because basically they treat it like you have to be constantly boosting. And on that note, as I said, the game is quite challenging. While the game has that campaign mode where you can unlock more cars and more cash money, it's not super hard on easy mode, but some of the time trials on some of the tracks are extremely excessively difficult. Again, I don't mind games being tough or hard, but I do have to acknowledge that Hot Wheels is a bit of a kids game. I know some people might argue with that, but I mean, they're toys. This is something you would probably somewhat try to sell to kids. So, I mean, unless these people who develop this game expect the kids to be professional gamers, boy oh boy, some of these challenges are extremely hard. Overall, I did not 100% complete the game. I stopped caring because I knew that upgrading the cars were meaningless. Eventually, it was going to get really difficult to get even the money and gear because I was going to finish the campaign. Thankfully, you can do quick races, single player wise, and you can get like 50 coins for every race. So at least you can do that to try to unlock every cars. But that's going to take a long time because you need 500 coins to get one random chance for one car. So again, that's why I call it a good disappointment. There are many good ideas, many good interesting designs aspects, but there's just so much against it. So much that a basic common sense developer would have known not to do. But yet, this game is littered with just some of the backwards game design, that like through the campaign, computer difficulty, the track building, the progression of the vehicles, upgrading them, unlocking more of them can be very tedious at times and feel meaningless and pointless. And I do admit, I had the ultimate most fun playing my custom track with my brother on the 2-player skid screen because I made the sprint track doing tests on vehicles to see if there's any worth upgrading it. Spoiler, there was no benefit upgrading the vehicle. It actually made most vehicles worse. I did test this, and it was pretty funny just having this fun little moment with my brother playing this sprint track I made. That was the only most fun I had with the game, was that custom track of the game. We both had a good laughs trying to screw us over, trying to knock us off the little booster pad. But overall, it's a good disappointment. If you can get this game relatively cheap, like a used copy, or like maybe 10, 15 bucks or something like that, pick it up. It's still worth your time in terms of the campaign mode and stuff like that to play it, and then of course you got the split screen, so you can get some value out of it. But off the disc, Hot Wheels Unleashed is a good disappointment. It has too much against it to consider it a good game, but it's got some good designs, not to say not to pick it up. So in my personal opinion, look into it, get a used copy. I wouldn't support the developers because this was just there's common sense developer would have known this is not ready. This just needed more time in the oven before releasing. But like always, thank you all so much for watching. I will try to leave links down in the description if you're interested to copy. And I've already made my 2 cents about the game. It's up to you. Whether you disagree or agree, that's perfectly fine. This is all about what is on the disc and what my experience was. So like always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next unboxing video. Bye-bye!